Hello, good morning, friends. How are y'all doing today? Happy Friday. It is Friday. Huzzah. We're making it to the weekend. Good job, everyone. And today is the first official day of Mercury Retrograde. Yeah, and this retrograde is happening in the sign of Leo. So if you want to know a little bit more about where this retrograde is really going to hit you, take a look at your natal chart and see what house Leo rules for you. Coming out later on today will be my newsletter. It's going to be focused in on not only the new moon coming up next week, but also talking about Chiron retrograde as well as Mercury retrograde and just kind of, talking more about this retrograde soup that we are in. So today's prompt is focused on this Mercury retrograde, okay? So we are going to be diving into the spread. Let me show you that spread real quick. Here is the spread. Go ahead and screenshot this if you want to pull cards for yourself. And y'all, just like my personal pull, this pull is, well, what you would expect for a Mercury retrograde. So let's dive into it. So the first prompt is, what will be our focus this retrograde period? And we have two cards for this one, and we're going to dive into these together. So, hey, witch, we have the Nine of Pentacles as well as the Nine of Swords, okay? So when I'm thinking about what our focus will be, this has a lot to do with inner work, okay? Really diving into the past, really seeing the past for what it was, okay? Not what we wanted it to be, not what we thought it should be, but what it was, okay? And being able to work through that, working through the pain of the past, working through the trauma of the past, okay? And because of that work, being able to claim some kind of reward, okay? And what I mean by reward is being able to see the fruits of our labor, okay? Being able to see that the work that we put into ourselves does pay off, okay? Even during a Mercury retrograde, which, it's kind of a big deal, I think. I mean, that does feel very connected to the energy of Leo, in my humble opinion. Leo wants to be seen for who they are, right? They want to be able to express themselves fully for exactly who they are. But in order to find out who you are, sometimes you got to go on a deep inner work dive, right? The next prompt is, where will we be asked to revise and revisit? Fuck y'all. Yeah. The grief card. Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of feels, okay? Grief, disillusionment, okay? If we have been holding on to this illusion of what things are and it is not the truth, that is going to come crashing down during this Mercury retrograde, okay? And I feel like that's also connected to the Neptune retrograde going on. But either way, we are going to have a lot of big feels with this one, okay? So we are going to be asked to revisit themes of grief. I don't know if y'all have already been feeling that one, but I sure have. Yeah. So it's going to be really important for us to allow the feels. If you need help with that, come to the Tarot Guided Breathwork on Sunday. All the deets are in the clickable space because we're going to be feeling our way through that pain. And remember, these things come up so that we can work through them, heal through them, all of that. Okay, so next prompt. Who or what will attempt to re-enter our lives this cycle? Because, Mercury be Mercurying, right? And we have the Hanged Man for this one, okay? So I'm taking this as a sign of either someone that we've been taking a break from, someone that we have kind of pressed pause on the relationship. Maybe we had to figure some things out. Maybe we stepped away to figure ourselves out, okay? Either way, this is a sign of those people trying to come back into our lives. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, okay? If you feel like the pause has been good for you, and good for them, and everyone's healing and growing and wanting to have a healthy conversation and things like that, let them back into your life. And I know that probably goes against, all of the advice that anybody will give you during a Mercury retrograde, but I do have a reason for this, okay? I have a close friend, okay, who we actually stopped talking for a while, and then we actually reconnected during a Mercury retrograde. And our friendship is blossoming, is blooming, is overflowing with love. Can a reconnect happen during Mercury retrograde? Absolutely. But again, you got to make sure that it's time for that. Sometimes it's still time for a pause, okay? So again, be willing to take a look at what you're doing, what they're doing, all of that, and make sure that it's time for them to re-enter your life. And if not, just keep that boundary, take a step back, continue the pause. Next prompt is, how can we best use this time to reflect and grow? Y'all. So we have the Five of Pentacles for this one. Yeah, not super great. Okay, this usually represents us experiencing some kind of financial loss, financial difficulties, health difficulties, things like that. But this is also an opportunity to see what has been clogging up the energy in those areas, okay? We can be taking a look at our health habits. We can be taking a look at our spending habits, okay? The things that come up during this time, again, are so that we will see them and stop ignoring them. If you've been noticing yourself overspending or overdoing something that is harmful for your health, take this as a sign to start to look at that, especially if Leo rules your 6th house, okay? So make the time to do this work. All right, our last prompt, because this has been a lot, hasn't it? Yeah. All right, the last one is a card from our guides to help us get through this Mercury retrograde. Oh, we have the Page of Cups. Okay, so for us right now, we are being urged to think outside the box. We are being urged to expect the unexpected. Pay attention to synchronicities. Pay attention to the magic that is being presented in your life, okay? Because I get this feeling that during this time, you know, we give this time period a bad rap, okay? We pay attention to all the negative shit. And trust me, okay? I get it. This shit always fucks with me, okay? Usually in technical areas, right? But it is such a beautiful opportunity to see things differently. It's a beautiful opportunity to change, to see what has not been working in our lives and to adjust, you know? I feel like this card is also inviting us to connect with our heart space, with our sacred heart space, and to allow the feels to come out, okay? Looking over this reading, it's pretty fucking tough. It's gonna be a rough time, but we can help ourselves through it if we are in touch with our heart, if we are in touch with the fact that we need to be doing the work. Every time I deliver a difficult reading, usually the person being read for tells me that at least they know now what they need to be doing. So take this as a sign of at least you know what you need to be doing for yourself to get through this time period. Is it going to make everything all better again? Absolutely not. Not in this life, my friends. But it can definitely help us heal and move forward. In whatever capacity we are working on right now in our own lives, this one's going to make us review our actions, okay? What we have been doing, what we have been saying. So stay open to that. So I know this was a really long video, so if you're still here, thanks for being here, you guys. How are you going to stay open to the guidance provided in this reading? How are you going to stay open to what this time period is trying to teach you? And how are you going to take care of yourself behind all of this deep work? Let me know in the comments and know that I'm sending you all so much love because, yeah, definitely feeling this one. You know, as a Gemini moon, I always feel them, okay? But this time as a Leo rising and a Scorpio sun, yeah, it's amplified. Either way, friends, I will see you next time. Good luck with this, and please do reach out if you need anything at all.